excited that you're here. Like I said, this is part one. And part two will either be given to you in the online class or through email. Either way, you're always welcome to contact me at teamlifetimefitness@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook or Instagram and message me if you ever have questions or needs. So this is part one. Today we're going to be talking a lot about energy. Where energy comes from, how energy affects us, what our sources of energy are, and kind of where food fits into that. Because we are in the information age right now, right? We have so much information at our fingertips. If you guys want to Google energy, you will come up with millions and millions of all sorts of things, from nuclear energy to energy that's found on little pieces of things in a rock. I mean, it's crazy when you start to dig into energy. It's a universe in and of itself. So for this purpose of this class, we're going to break it down to pretty simple principles. And our first section is, what are sources of energy? And I'm just giving you basic principles here. So sources of energy are things that affect how we feel, things that affect our actual ability to get up and go, things that affect us at the cellular level. And when I say that, when you think energy, it's your ability to get up and go somewhere and feel normal, fine, in a state of, I'm here doing this. There's no lingering headache. There's not a feeling of I have to sit down and rest. Your body just can go. Your brain could just go. That is good energy. There's not a lot of negativity. And so sources of energy all around us. Let's break this down, and hopefully you're keeping notes on a piece of paper. The main source of energy for all life on planet Earth comes from the sun. And if you didn't learn that somewhere along in your education, I'm sure you did. Actually, this is a reminder of that fourth grade science class, or maybe you went to college and you learned all about this. But our sun is central to all life on Earth. And that is our main source of energy. Our sun is vital to our human bodies. We need sunlight to create energy inside our human bodies. In fact, there's a vital vitamin D, that our bodies need to survive, to combat depressive thoughts, to digest other foods properly. And so we need sunlight to actually touch our skin, and it, with hormones and different processes in our body, it creates vitamin D for us, which is vital for our body to keep creating different red blood cells, which help our energy. Like, it's amazing. We actually need sunlight just like a plant. Another source of energy would be our everything that's around us, our environments, plants that surround us, even the color of our walls affect our energy. You can Google that if you want. Colors affect our energy. Have you ever noticed the difference between walking in the park on a sunny day versus walking into a pub at 10 p.m. at night, where the lights are dim, there's the smell of fries, there's, the live entertainment going up on the stage, and there's a definite different energy there than the energy of walking through the park, pushing the stroller, or, listening to waves on the beach in Southern California. Those different environments feel differently to us, and it's not, I know that some of you maybe have never thought about this before, but that affects your overall energy. And so I want you to really think about your bedroom, your living room, your workspace. Where do you spend multiple hours a day? And what does it look like when you walk into that space? What do the colors, the wall hangings, the carpet, the chairs, what kind of energy do you feel when you walk into your home? A lot of people will take this class this eating for energy, and they're like, you know what, I did feel a difference, but overall I'm still lagging, I'm still struggling in certain areas. And I'll say, well, you're eating, they'll show me a food log, say I'm eating all these good things, and I say you are. So that tells me it's something in your environment. Or the next principle we're going to talk about is the people. If you've ever Googled and talked about energy in the human body, or if you've watched some of those cool documentaries about it, like I have, because I'm a nerd, but they've done, heat sensor testing, and they've done all sorts of really interesting experiments that prove that human bodies have a certain energy, an aura that surrounds us. People have brighter ones, people have dimmer ones, just depending on what they ate, if they're recently gone through a traumatic event, like how much sleep they've gotten. It's very, very interesting and fascinating to me. And so realize that the people that you surround yourself with daily, whether it's children, grandchildren, your husband, a spouse, a partner, your workmates, roommates, whatever it is, the people that surround you really affect your energy. Someone that has intense, happy, positive, fun energy can be transmitted like literally onto you. It's pretty amazing. In fact, they've even shown that through video, you guys might be feeling my energy. Isn't that crazy? Like, you can sense it. And so be aware during this class of what your sources of energy are. So that was our first section, is really trying to just introduce this idea of what energies are around you that affect you more than what you eat, but the sunlight, the colors, the space, your environment, the people, animals, your job, all of these things are going to affect your energy. And I hope that through the years, you will stick with me as I teach other classes about these other sources of energy. But for this class, it's eating for energy. So let's move to the next section. There's going to be 6 sections in total. That was section 1, was this energy. The next section is, what are your sources of energy in your life? So we've talked about where these energies come from in very basic terms. And we're going to dive in a little bit to how you have access to those different energies. So let's talk about food. So when a plant grows, it sprouts out of the ground, and it came from a seed that needed water to soften the outside. It needed minerals from the ground. It needed different life-giving chemicals that are organically found in the ground to nourish the plant. And then as soon as it pops through the ground, the sun starts photosynthesis. It starts this amazing process where this plant is fed from the ground and the sun. And then it amazingly reproduces its seeds. And what's really cool to me is that these seeds, any plant, right? Any source of food on this earth, and animals, they eat plants. That's how they grow their muscle tissue to have energy to live. And then we consume their muscle tissue, which was fed with plants. And so plants literally are the source of living on this planet. So the sun causes the energy for it to happen, but plants is how we take in the energy of the sun inside our bodies. And so when a plant grows and it creates these seeds, and then it's so cool to me how the seed, it can just lay dormant like for a long time, but it keeps the power of the sun inside that seed because it grows underground. Like, it sprouts with energy and power. And the only way it can do that is if it had energy inside that seed. So seeds literally are little miracles to me. They're sitting there with the power of the sun inside them, stored. until given the right circumstance, and then they will burst that energy and create new life. It's really incredible to me. I'm so passionate about how cool this is, but as we then take that into our bodies, the same energy helps us recreate our bodies. Did you know the human body recreates itself over time? All of our cells are constantly recreating themselves. And the most time that this is happening is when we're sleeping, by the way. That's a point that I hope that you can write down and internalize. Is that when we sleep, that is when our body recreates itself. That's when collagen in our skin helps with our wrinkles. That's when a scab will form over a sore. That's why when you're in the hospital for some reason, they are always like, just go to sleep. Sleep as much as possible while you're here, because sleep is when you heal. Sleep is when things change. And so your sources of energy is plant life, animals that have been fed quality plants, the energy from the people around you, the energy from your environment. And I hope you're writing down some of these things. Like, where do I think my energy is coming from? When you get good sleep, your body can then recreate and have it be in a state to be able to take in and give energy. So sleep can be a source of where it is. It's how your body metabolizes and creates your source of energy from the plants. So think about foods that you eat that fit this description. And I'm not just talking about eating seeds, but foods in their most whole form. Foods in their most whole form have the most energy from the sun. So there's two kinds of foods in my mind in the world we live in today, and that's anti-food and real food. Anti-food is stuff that has been, it looks like an edible item, but nutritionally, it's like zero. Nutritionally, like energy from the sun being contained in this little packaged yellow cake product, it's not food as a source of energy for the human body. It is literally like eating a plastic bag and swallowing it down. That's anti-foods. There is so many out there in the grocery stores claiming to be a source of food because it has enriched white flour that's been pounded down, bleached. It is nothing but like a powder. And then they add water and make it sticky, and they add all these different chemicals to make it taste and smell a certain way, and then they package it as food. But it's not. There is no energy from the sun in those foods. And then there's foods that are actually contain the energy of the sun, like carrots and string beans and beets and potatoes and onions and oranges and apples and grapes and pears and plums and peaches and cherries and watermelon and cantaloupe and an abundance. So many of these foods are out there, and they're amazing. Grass-fed beef, organic grass-fed, or free-range chicken, like really, really good sources of great nutrition for our human bodies that will offer a lot of stuff. So that's where food fits in this energy sphere. And I'm going to get more specific about how these natural foods go into our bodies and actually work with the metabolic process to create the energy for our bodies in part 2. But for today, we're talking about just basic energy principles, your sources of energy, how food fits in there, and kind of wrapping our brain around this idea of whole food and what that means to have whole food. When you look at an ingredient label on a box, does it say, grains? Then it has all these other little words that you're like, what? When you look at a label, my friends, it should just say things you can recognize, like corn, oil, salt, bananas, organic cane sugar. Like, it should be normal things that grow in the ground that somebody took out and made a yummy product for you to eat. So I'm not saying all packaged goods are the anti-foods. That is not true. But when you look at a label, you want to see whole food ingredients. And I really like to go on the rule of thumb that the shorter the list, the more whole it is. So try to write down and keep a list of foods that you already eat that give you energy. And then I want to talk really quick, this is the last part of this lesson, being able to create energy on demand. So our bodies, I don't know if you've ever looked up kinesiology or reflexology, but our bodies have what's called energy meridians. Now, a meridian is a line. If you've talked longitude and latitude on the earth, you've talked about meridian lines. Our bodies, human bodies, have meridian lines, and they're called energy meridians. And they go up and down and across. And our bodies have them that go from the top of our head down to our toes. They go across here. They go across in several vital areas. And you can look up human body energy meridians, and you'll see things that talk about yoga. You'll see things that talk about Tai Chi and some of these ancient practices where they move the body in certain ways where they're opening up these energy meridians. And you guys, this might sound so new to you. And when I first started learning about it, I was like, what are you talking about? But the more I practiced with it and tried to prove it, I discovered that there's a lot of truth there. So today I want to teach you one basic thing to be able to create energy on demand for that afternoon when you're like, I have a job interview and I feel like I just need a nap. Or I volunteered to be in my preschool class for my son as this room mom and I feel like crap right now. I want you to be able to tap your energy meridians and create energy on demand from your human body, what it was already built with, which I think is really cool. So beyond the eating for energy that we're going to dive in deeper in class 2, I want to teach you this really basic way to tap your energy meridians so that you can be able to access energy on demand when you need it. So what you're going to do is you're going to cup your hand like this, and it just creates a little bit of suction, and it also protects your body from actually hitting yourself, because we're going to be doing what's called tapping. And what we're going to do is we're going to start from our feet, our ankles, and we're going to work our way up our body, hitting just the major energy meridians. So what you're going to do is you're going to start, and I really do want you to get up. You're going to put your foot on a chair or whatever, and you're going to cup your hands, and you're going to start at your ankles, and you're going to tap up the sides of your body, and you're going to go up your thighs. You're going to go all the way to your backside. We have a major energy meridian that goes here through our hip area. So you want to tap really hard through there, up the bottom of your back as high as you can. And then you're going to start at your wrist, and you're going to go all the way up your shoulder. Just tap it all the way up the sides of your neck. Kind of give yourself a little neck massage. And then what I want you to do is give yourself a deep squat. Sit back into your backside. If you've ever heard of powerlifting, and then stand up, take a deep breath, and you'll notice there's this instant heat that is now going like this in your body. And you guys, that took like a minute. But all of a sudden, we have this energy. And let's talk, and I said, have you ever heard of powerlifting? Those people stand up and they lift from their very core pelvic area. There's huge energy meridians that shoot out from there. That's why those people feel so powerful when they do that. But just doing like one big squat like that, and then a big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Guys, that's energy on demand. And I'm really excited. I hope that you did it. I hope that you can do it daily. You can do it whenever you need energy. Just tap up those sides of your body. Do your other leg. I didn't do my other leg, but do one leg, then the other. Tap up through the core. Tap up under the sides. Tap up from the, your wrists up. Give yourself that little neck massage, and then do a couple good squats with deep breaths, and you'll be amazed. That's the end of class 1. We're going to talk tomorrow in our class number 2 about more into the nitty-gritty of nutrition and digestion, and how our food that is full of good energy and how to pair it with different foods for proper digestion, for eating for energy.